everyone, welcome back to my channel. I'm Juliet and this is my channel Mama Tried. Today is a very special video for me because it is 12 months of breastfeeding. I've been asked so many questions throughout the past year with breastfeeding, and whenever I first had Luxie, or actually before I had Luxie when I was pregnant, I really wanted to breastfeed her. I watched so many videos, I tried to learn everything. I did not go to any lactation consultants. I really didn't get any help at all in the hospital because I didn't need it. I researched as much as I could before I had Luxie, and I attribute all of what I know to that, pretty much. I was in some moms groups that helped me a little bit, but the majority was YouTube videos, and there wasn't quite one like I'm going to make today. And so I wish that I had a video like this to watch back when I was pregnant, but here I am. This is the whole reason for my channel. I started this channel just because there were so many things that I wanted to know or learn about whenever I was pregnant, and there weren't very many real raw videos. It's very bittersweet to me because I knew that I would make it this far. I did. It's almost been 13 months since we started our breastfeeding journey. So let me go ahead and jump right into it. I wrote everything down, so if you see me looking down, I'm looking at my phone. One question that I've had people ask me is, was it worth it? Yes, it was so worth it. Knock on every piece of wood in this house, but Luxie has never been sick, ever. In 12 or almost 13 months, never been sick. And I fully attribute that to the antibodies in my breast milk for the majority. Now, she wasn't in daycare or anything like that, but I think that's pretty unusual. No cold, no nothing. So I really think that that was because I breastfed for so long. And then another thing that people ask me still all the time, she has teeth, right? Doesn't it hurt? Yes, it does. I'm gonna be honest with you. When Luxie first got her very first tooth, I could feel it, but it wasn't like crazy. Like, it didn't hurt or anything. When she got 2 of her bottom teeth, when they started pushing up and she learned how to bite to help with the teething, she started biting me. And what I did to help fix that problem in the very beginning is when she would do it, I would stop nursing and I would say, ouch, hurt mama. And I would make like a really sad face. It looks ridiculous me telling you on camera right now, but that's what I did. And I'm like, a few times of that happening, she never did it again. I mean, here and there she'll do it, but it's a total like accident. She's not meaning to teeth on me. I know with babies it's an accident anyway, but she does not do it on purpose. She doesn't teeth on me, if that makes sense. So that's how I combated the teeth. And it really was hard in the very beginning, I'm going to be honest. Another question that I got all the time is, what would you do whenever you go out in public? Well, it depends. It depends on who I was with, where I was going, how long I was going for, all of the things. So, for example, if I'm going to a family, like a close family or friend's house, I just breastfeed. I mean, I don't care. I did have, when I first started breastfeeding, I would always use a cover, but if I'm in a family member's house or something, I don't care if they don't care. You can't really see anyway, because the way I pull my shirt up, it like covers everything. Like, unless somebody's really up in your business, they're not going to see anything. And that's the majority of breastfeeding moms. So I really don't get what the big deal is, why people make such a big deal out of it. And I mean other people that aren't breastfeeding, because like, unless you're all up in someone's business, you're not going to see it anyway. Like, it matters. Like, you're feeding your baby. Do what you got to do. But whenever I wouldn't, so for example, at my grandfather's funeral, Luxie was about, wow, she was really young. She was like a month old. And at the funeral, I just took a bottle of pumped milk with me because I didn't have time to sit and feed her during the funeral. So I did take a bottle with me then. And also, whenever we went to Florida, Luxie was a month old as well, and that was a long drive for us. I used a Hawka the whole time, pretty much throughout the car ride, and I already had milk like for bottles for her. So we'd stop and I'd either give her a bottle or breastfeed, just depending on what time we stopped and if she was awake, because if she was sleeping, we were driving. So then the next question, what if there's an emergency and you can't breastfeed? So this was a good question that I got asked by some new moms. What I did, the day I brought Lexi home from the hospital, I started pumping alongside with breastfeeding. So, you know, newborns eat every hour and a half, 2 hours, some more, some less, just depends on your baby. I would feed and then I'd pump. I'd feed and then I'd pump. I did that literally until Lexi was like 4-ish months old. And within 4 months, I had stashed such a good freezer supply. Like, it's unreal. Seriously. I still have milk from like July. And I know that people say it's only good for a certain amount of time, but I've made bottles and the milk is fine. It's in the very, very bottom of the freezer, so I don't know. But I'm not wasting milk and it's not rancid or anything like that. So that's what I did, and I'm so glad that I did, and I'll tell you why. I woke up and I had a very high fever. I want to say it was like 103, 104, and I was shaking uncontrollably. My husband was out of town for work, so it was just me and Lexi alone, and I called my mom. I want to say it was like 3 o'clock in the morning. She took me to our local ER, which is, don't even get me started. They told me that they thought I had appendicitis, and they gave me some medicine to do a CAT scan, and I did not have appendicitis. And the medicine that they gave me, after they gave it to me, they said, oh, and by the way, you can't breastfeed with that medicine. I didn't have any milk with me. When Lexi started getting hungry, I'm like, okay, y'all, like, apparently I don't have appendicitis, or they wanted me to check back just in case it was flaring up or something. Anyway, long story short, I did not have appendicitis. I had a severe kidney infection and I was like pretty much dying. Not even 24 hours later, I went to a completely different hospital and they hooked me up quick. I was so dehydrated. I was really, really sick. But anyway, my whole point in that being, if I didn't have that milk, Lexi would have had to have formula. And that's just not something I wanted. I am not here to judge any moms that give your babies formula. You do you. The one thing that went right with my labor and delivery is that she latched immediately. I didn't need any help. She did really good with breastfeeding. We were doing great. So that was like something that had kept me going the whole time. That was the one thing that I wanted that was going good, if that makes sense. So I was a stickler, like, we're gonna do this. And so I'm so glad that I built up that supply, because if I hadn't, she would have had to have formula, and that would have really crushed my spirit. Even though it's not that big of a deal, y'all. It's really not. But to me at the time, it really was. Let me go on to the next thing. When do you plan on stopping? I've had a lot of people actually ask me this question. I don't really have an end date per se. I'm really leaving it up to Lexi. So at her 12-month appointment, I talked to her pediatrician, and with everything that's going on right now, I didn't want to slow down breastfeeding at all because of the antibodies you get from breast milk, and I wanted her immune system to be skyrocket high because I don't want her getting sick at all, especially with all the scary stuff going on in the world. And I see breast milk as just like a magic potion for babies. The pediatrician said that she wasn't worried at all. At this point, she's so healthy. I could stop breastfeeding and go ahead and give her cow's milk. And so I'm worried about cow's milk too. We'll talk about that later. But so I was like, okay. So I started weaning her about a week after that appointment. And so far we're just doing morning feedings and night feedings. I dropped all the feedings in between, and at that point she was eating about 4 times a day. And so now we're just doing 2, which is great. But really, I'm leaving it up to Lexi. I want her to wean herself. If she needs it, she needs it. If she doesn't, she doesn't. I'm not going a long, long time though. I'm just thinking, I don't know, 18-ish months. It's different for everybody, and I am so tired of people judging moms for how long they breastfeed their babies and how little they breastfeed their babies. Stay out of their business. It's not your baby. And I mean, I'm putting all of my information out there on the internet, so I hope you guys don't judge me, because I'm making this video just solely to help other people, because I really wish I would have had a video like this when I was pregnant. Another question is, did you ever get mastitis? No, I didn't. I was very strict on my breastfeeding and pumping schedule. Whenever I did stop pumping, I would get engorged overnight, or when Luxie started sleeping through the night, I'd get engorged, and as soon as I woke up in the morning, I would get rid of all the milk. And I started doing that like slowly. So instead of breastfeeding, pumping, I would breastfeed, pump, breastfeed, if that makes sense. So I weaned myself off of the pumping slowly. I would wean myself off of breastfeeding slowly, which really Luxie did that herself. I was very strict on my breastfeeding or pumping routine, if you will. And I did get clogged ducts. That's not fun. What I did when I got a clogged duct is I would take ibuprofen and Tylenol, or I'd alternate them. I would take a really warm shower and let the water just hit me to try and I would try to massage the duct out, because it's a clogged duct and you can see it. I got these Lancino hot and cold packs, and I would pop one in the microwave and put it in the little sleeve and put it in my bra, and the heat from that would really help. I'm gonna be honest, you guys, breastfeeding is a really tough journey. It really, really is. In the beginning, it's hard. Your nipples hurt, your boobs hurt all the time. When your milk comes in, it hurts. I mean, I'm not gonna say that it doesn't hurt, because it does. I could just be behind the camera and be like, everything was perfect. And that's what happens over time. You stop, you remember the good moments and you stop forgetting all the bad, which is great. But I do remember literally her latching sometimes, and I'm gonna be honest here, fully honest. I would have to get a pillow or something to bite on because it hurt so bad. So there's that. And I'm not trying to scare you out of breastfeeding too, but no one made me aware that this was normal. And so whenever that happened to me, I was like, what's wrong with me? When in reality, nothing was wrong with me. That is normal. It's normal for your boobs to hurt because, hello, you've never nursed a baby before. It's normal for your nipples to be sore, dry, cracked even. I did experience a cracked nipple before. Not fun. It's worth it in the long haul. If you can get over that rough patch, it gets a lot better. I want to say, by the time we moved into this house, I was golden. So I don't think I got any clogged ducts or anything like that. I think I had to pull out the Lancino warm pads once because they were just hurting, and I still don't know why. Once you get through the first few months, it gets a lot better. It really does. And then again, when they get teeth, you have to deal with that, but it's not as bad as you think it would be. You really have to get through that rough spot, and when you do, it gets a lot better. I get asked, has anyone ever judged me before for breastfeeding or in public or anything like that? And the answer is no. I have very supportive people in my life for that reason. If I have people in my life that disagree with how I parent my child or disagree with how I choose to feed my child, then I'm not going to have them in my life. I've never personally been judged. I've never had anyone give me dirty looks in public or anything like that, but they probably never knew I was breastfeeding. I fed her at a basketball game and I didn't use a cover because you couldn't tell. My shirt was covering her face. I was wearing a tank top underneath. You couldn't see anything. And it's nobody's business. And stand up for yourself if you do get judged, which I don't really see that happening these days, but I know that it does happen because people tell me, stand up for yourself. That is just the beginning of you having to advocate for your child. Sometimes being a mama bear is rough, but you always advocate for your baby. It teaches you to get some tough skin really quick. I'll put it that way. But I think that's pretty much everything for my breastfeeding journey over the past 12 months, almost 13 months. It's really bittersweet because it's coming to an end soon. I know that, but that means it's the start of something new. My baby's growing and she's happy and healthy. And I'm just so truly blessed that I was able to make it this far. My channel was originally made to help new moms because I got questions on things all the time. I don't know if I just had a lot of friends that were pregnant after I already had Luxie, or friends that had babies like within a certain range of Luxie, but I got a lot of questions all the time, and so that's why I decided to make this YouTube channel, so that way I could make videos for others. Even when I was pregnant, it was hard for me to find relatable videos. The majority of them were people, I feel like, showing things off, or just showing the bright side of everything. And whereas I'm a pretty positive person, but sometimes bad things happen. Sometimes it's hard, sometimes it's rough, and I wanted realistic videos where people were like, no, that sucked, or yeah, that hurt, or this is what happened. I don't want to be the one that goes, everything was perfect, because it wasn't always perfect, and it's not always perfect, and that's okay. I really want to normalize that whenever it comes to moms, that it's not perfect, but it's still okay. So I guess that's the end of today's video. If you guys have any questions, drop them down in the comment box down below and I will get back to you. And also, if you'll follow me over on Instagram, my Instagram handle is @MamaTriedOfficial. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and share this video with your friends that might be pregnant or new moms. Once again, you guys, thank you so much for watching and have an awesome day. Bye.